My brother was very, I don't think he's doing the music video.
No, he plays on our happy.
Okay. Okay, I wasn't sure. And Malcolm Buff is my nephew.
Gabriel's coming. Gabriel's coming.
Oh, Gabriel Bowman's coming?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. He's here. I just want to introduce Old school. Really.
Rabbi said we're going to go in 8th grade.
Missed my airport. You know
Because the whole world is trying to get Rav Kalish, the entire Eretz Yisrael is trying to get Rav Kalish to speak. And somehow we have this chus, the major chus, to be able to get Rav Kalish. I've been hearing people ask me, how did you get Rav Kalish to come to your yeshiva? How did you pull it off? What happened? And everybody wants to hear words of chizuk from Rav Kalish, but it's a little bit more, I'm nervous to speak, to introduce Rav Kalish. Because Rav Kalish doesn't even know this, but I'm a Talmud of Rav Kalish. I listen to Rav Kalish's shiurim, the excitement of my week, or my days, I want to get these podcast updates, that Rav Kalish, a new shiur came out. Erev Shabbos, I got three on Erev Shabbos. Just to listen to the chizuk, the words of chizuk that Rav Kalish gives. Thousands of people, just hundreds tonight, but thousands of people. Thousands of people, there you go. That's all about it. Listen to the shiurim of Rav Kalish. Rav Kalish, I know myself and Rav Ben, We always speak about Rav Kalish. We always speak, what would Rav Kalish say in this situation? What would Rav Kalish say in that situation? Always asking ourselves. But I just want to say one thing. If you want to know, in my mind, who we're hearing from tonight, what he stands for, Chanoch L'Na'ar Al Pi Darko. Every person, every Talmud in his way, a Darko. It's one thing I've learned from Rav Kalish is Darko is understanding each Talmud, where he is, knowing every one of his Talmidim. As we saw walking in, the kasha that Rav Kalish has. I mean, if we didn't pull Rav Kalish forward, he would have been there for another 25 minutes, 30 minutes, just saying Shalom Aleichem to every one of his Talmidim. Chanoch L'Na'ar Al Pi Darko. We went to Tzfas, a couple of Shiurim went to Tzfas, and we learned what it means to be authentic Jews. Rav Kalish teaches his Talmidim from day one. Anybody I know, I learned in Waterbury, I learned in Rav Kalish. There's an authenticity. And that authenticity is shared to his Talmidim, and that's what the chinuch is there. But lastly, Rav Kalish has taught us all. It seems like everybody speaks about Rav Kalish having a new mahalach. There's a new mahalach out there. Did you hear about this new mahalach of Rav Kalish? It's the only mahalach. The mahalach of just showing love. Controlling our Talmidim doesn't work. But rather showing love to our children, to our Talmidim and Rabbosai. We've had many Gedolim have come to our yeshiva over the past few days, past few weeks. We haven't had a showing like this. I think it speaks to not just being a Gadol in Torah, but a Gadol in understanding people. Without further ado, Rav Kalish.
Thank you.
You want this?
Just thank you. Thank you.
Try without it.
Thank you. Thank you to Rav Heschel for your very kind words, and I thank the Yeshiva Reiberg and the whole Yeshiva for hosting me. I want to be here badly tonight. I've come with a group of guys at Ray Brownstein, together with Chevra, we've come from the airport, and I felt strongly that the matziv that Klal Yisrael finds ourselves in now, that the organic response of any family in a tzara. We have a mishpacha bayas in yeshiva lost their father. A very, very precious friend of ours lost his father. And we've watched the family come together in beautiful ways. All the brothers, the siblings, brother to sister, sister to brother, the children to the mama. We've watched the family, friends, come together in awesome ways. That's the response to difficulty. It's a very natural response. And we've seen in our precious people in Klal Yisrael, we've seen a unity, the likes of which I have never seen in my life. We've become and are becoming one people, a Yid. And we're seeing a unity. And it was important to me tonight, directly from the airport. In the past, we've met up as a yeshiva. Tonight, we're meeting with other yeshivas. Bring walls down. We have artificial walls that we've put up that are cute and nice. We have Hasidish, Litvish, Sfarad, Ashkenaz, different brands of Hasidus, all very nice, wonderful, and there's a place to Messiah. And there are differences that are wonderful and can be argued about and should be argued about, and they're all wonderful. But deeper than all those differences, there's the Bria of Hashem, that we're one people, one unified nation. We're a Yid. And that has to be expressed and is being expressed in our nation. So I wanted right off the plane that we should come together, not just one individual yeshiva, come together, all B'nai Yeshiva, Yidden, different Yidden, should come together from different places. 24 years ago, I was Zaycha to come to a city. There were very, very few Yidden. There was not a million of from Yidden in a city. And one of the people who came together, a very idealistic person, and his name was Rav John Wogan, and he came to a yeshiva. We came together with a dream of building a beautiful place. But there was a specific vision of a yeshiva and a community, and the idea was a place like Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim is Bainei Yerushalayim Hashem. Hashem built Yerushalayim. What was Hashem thinking? What is the idea of Yerushalayim Nidche Yisrael Yechanes? This is a place that a Yid, Nidche Yisrael, any Yid, a Yid maybe even where elsewhere is pushed away, here every single Yid is wanted. Every single Yid has a place. Every single Yid belongs. And we were starting a yeshiva and a community with that ideal, and one of the miyastim, one of the founding fathers, he was from the first few Bachrim we ever had in the yeshiva. We came together to build something, was Rav John Wogan. He was a Bachar in the yeshiva. Then he was a younger man. He was in Kollel and yeshiva. And then he lived in the community for a number of years. And I always had a tremendous gratitude to Rav John Wogan that he built. He was from the builders of today, a flourishing city and a flourishing yeshiva, which is true to the ideals of Hashem. Nidche Yisrael Yechanes. A Yid is wanted here. It doesn't matter what type. Chassidish, Litvish, Sfarad, Ashkenaz, here, there. A Yid is wanted in this Makom Torah. And Rav John Wogan was one of the miyastim. I wanted tonight, it should be a gathering of Yidden from different places. And Rav John called me up. He has a son, DR, I've met many times, a few times. I'm not zeicher to have such a close shaykhs. I'm in Connecticut, he's in Tennessee, but I want a shaykhs. And I thank the Wogan Mishpacha for facilitating that I can come, that together with the Chevra we could be here. I thank DR for being part of such. He's a growing person. His father is a tremendous idealist, just a very idealistic person. A lot of Klal Yisrael is reading. A book was just put out about a Rebbe, a big Talmud Chacham from Memphis, Tennessee, and his father was Zeicha to have shaykhs, I believe a shaykhs to Rav Nata. And really an honor to be at a yeshiva that DR is learning in and steiging in. So really thank you to the yeshiva and thank you to the whole Chevra for having me. Before we learn Divrei Torah together, I feel now it's still uncomfortable. We have to learn. I don't like forced Divrei Torah. If we're going to study together, it has to be comfortable. I was just recently speaking somewhere, and two Rebbeim were like going around the crowd, making people quiet. And it was causing like a lot of tension. I'm not promoting talking during a shir, no, but there was chiyus in the room and the quiet was causing problems. But I didn't want to chas v'shalom make somebody look bad. I made an excuse to ask somebody to come forward, and I asked, it would be, if everybody will be shmaitza b'itzilusa, if people will be more calm, we'll actually learn much better in that environment. So I want to sing a song, but I want to pray together for Klal Yisrael. First we'll sing, we'll pray together, and then I'd like to share. We'll learn Torah, we'll study Divrei Torah. But let's first daven together for our precious people. We're sitting here with a beautiful crowd of B'nai Torah. Let's pray for our people. Let's daven together, and then we'll share Divrei Torah. Hashiya esamecha uvarech es nachlasecha. There's a sugya I've already, my son and I, Moshe, is here, and we've learned this sugya before. I'd like Naftali, Moshe, I'd like Bensi to add a depth that has like emerged to me in this sugya, Moshe. I'd like to add to an old sugya, but Ein Beis Medrash B'li Chedesh, I want to add a depth to a sugya we studied already. Avram Avinu was known for his kindness, but specifically Vayita Eshel. There was a brand of kindness of Avram Avinu, and the brand of kindness is Vayita Eshel. Eshel was the anhaga of Avram Avinu. In the chesed of Avram, there would be Achila, Shesiya, and Levaya. He would give his guests to eat and drink. He would care for their physical needs. But Eshel Avram, there's an important dagesh, an important focus on Eshel Avram. It wasn't just Achila and Shesiya, there was Levaya. And Levaya completely changes the game. There's an entirely different chesed of Achila Shesiya alone, and Achila Shesiya and Levaya, Eshel Avram. And the dagesh in Levaya is a game changer. Achila Shesiya is to care for another person. People have more fortune and less fortunate. And Achila Shesiya means that one provides for the unfortunate. Somebody has a social standing, and another person doesn't have that standing. So the person who has the social standing will help out the less fortunate. That's a world of Achila and Shesiya. That is no shaykhs to the chesed of Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu's kindness was Eshel Avram, Achila, Shesiya, Levaya. Levaya means that I respect you. Levaya means that I'm enamored by you. Levaya means that I'm intimidated by you. To be melave a guest means that this is a hush of a person. The first word Avram Avinu says to his guest is Adonai. The Torah has no words that are extra, no words that are just, it means that Avram Avinu looked up to his guest. There was respect, there was appreciation. He admired the people. And the chesed of Avram Avinu was Eshel Avram. The Achila Shesiya came because he had a sense, Al Nas Saver Me'al Avdecha. I see greatness and kindness and preciousness. I see godliness in you. And he even used that name that we refer to Hashem. Because Avram Avinu saw the greatness in somebody. He was taken by somebody, and as such, was Nayeg Chesed. It is not a Chesed born from pity. It's a Chesed that comes from a profound respect. Where did Avram Avinu come to this kindness? And the pashtus of Avram Avinu coming to this kindness. Avram Avinu's kindness came from very deep in his soul. The Torah, in describing Avram Avinu's chesed, uses 5 words of Avram Avinu rushing, of passion. 5 times the Torah expresses Avram Avinu was flying around. Now, of course, the picture that Hashem is painting is rizus, is alacrity. Avram Avinu is on fire. But there's a deep nekuda, Yankiv. In Avram Avinu's passion is a nekuda that he was born for this. When you see, I care a lot about chayus. Chayus, I was in the airport with my sons. We were flying, a group of guys today, Rai Brownstein were flying, and we saw 2 Lubavitch Hasidim. They were signing up Yidden to write a Sefer Torah. I saw chayus in these 2 bachrim. I saw chayus. They were full of smiles, full of energy. There was a chayus in their avodas Hashem. When you see chayus, it's a sign that somebody has found themselves. Somebody stopped my son over Cholamayit Sukkos. He said, "Why do you learn?" He said, "Why do you do mitzvahs? Schar olam haba?" He said, "What would you do for 70, 80 years from now? Can I get you to do anything?" Imagine an incentive. In Mevaseret, we did an incentive. In 80 years, you'll get a wonderful trip. That wouldn't motivate one bacher. So the person said, what's this schar in olam haba? Of course there's schar in olam haba. But he asked my son, that motivates you? And my son said, I was born to serve Hashem. I feel it. I was born. I was made for this. A Yid, his soul craves Torah, craves tefillah, craves kindness. When somebody's functioning with energy and chayus, is the sign that they found that which I'm born for. They're functioning with tremendous energy because I was born for this. That is a certain power, a certain passion. Avram Avinu, the Torah describing the chesed of Avram, tells us that he found him. He found his own soul. You see, we hear 2 things about Avram Avinu. He's the discoverer of Hashem, and he's the Baal Chesed. This Avram Avinu, has 2 aspects. The discoverer of Hashem and the Baal Chesed. Do that relate at all? Does that connect? But Avram Avinu didn't just discover Hashem. Avram Avinu discovered that we're shaykh to Hashem. Avram Avinu discovered that the human being is shaykh to Hashem, is shaykh to Kirvas Hashem, because the human being has a soul that's a chelak eloikam imal mamish. The human being has a soul. And Avram Avinu found that we have godliness in us. Mahu afata, Hashem is kind. Hashem's a goymel chesed, and we have a soul that wants to give. Reb Chaim Volozhin was frequent to say, his son quoted, "Lo nivra ha'adam el lahaya la'achriti." We were born to give. We were born. We have a craving to share, to give, to be godly, to provide. That's in us all. Avram Avinu's chesed was passionate. There was a zehirus because he found there was an energy, a zrizos, because he found it inside of himself, the want to give. He discovered the neshama that's in us, that wants to give, that wants to be godly. Avram Avinu, discovering that in himself, discovered it in others. And as such, Avram Avinu had a brand of chesed. It wasn't the chesed of pitying, listen, you pity, no. He found his own godliness, his own soul, and as such, he was able to see it in others. And so was Eishel Avram, Kalish and Levaya. The Levaya is that he accompanied out when a guest came. He walked him out of the house. He gave him tremendous kavod. It wasn't the superficial thing, the kavod, the respect. It wasn't the pat on the back, you're a nice person. It was the discovery of the greatness of Avram. The Rambam says a Rebbe, the Rambam in Hilchas Talmud Torah, says a Rebbe is mechuyev to be mechabed as Talmidim. It's not an external kavod in the words of the Chayadam. Ikar kavod is b'machshava. It doesn't mean a Rebbe externally shows, like don't say mean things. It means the Rebbe in his mind when he's not in front of the Talmud. His obligation, his only way of impacting the particular student is if he's crazy over the student in his brain. When he's alone with his wife, he can't stop praising the student. That's the only way. Rav Hirsch calls this the bedrock of education. There's no teaching somebody you're not nishtoimim from, somebody you're not dazzled by, somebody you're not impressed by. Avram Avinu's chesed was born from that respect. He had discovered his own soul, and as such was able to see it in others, precious, big people. Adonai, he said to his guests, my masters, I look up to you. And he saw the greatness, and that's where the Kalish came from, the seeing and appreciating this. It's my honor, al nas savra mayal avdecha. So now let's follow a train of thought. That's the Eishel Avram. The Chazal tell us that Yaakov Avinu, before he went to Mitzrayim, in some cryptic, hard to understand pasuk, Yaakov Avinu takes a detour on the way to Egypt, and he goes to Be'er Sheva. And Chazal tell us that he went to Be'er Sheva to pick up Eishel Avram. Eishel Avram, the trees of Avram, he brought down to Mitzrayim. Eishel, Achilish Yesiya Levaya. The Eishel Avram he picked up in Be'er Sheva. When we left Mitzrayim, those trees that Yaakov Avinu brought to Egypt, Chazal say, the Yidden brought those trees into the desert. And then when we built a Mishkan in the desert, Hashem dwelled in our midst. We took those trees and the Briach HaTichain, the central beam of the Mishkan, that which held the Mishkan were those trees, the Eishel Avram. Miraculously, Chazal say that the tree bent around, stuck the tree in, and it went around the whole Mishkan. Shaloi kederech, a cedar tree or anything hard. And it went around and it became the central beam of the Mishkan. Now, if you're into the Enneagram, the fives are wonderful and nothing to be ashamed of. Fives like random information. They love it. And that's how they get, the five in the Enneagram. So if you're a five, you want to write that down. Avram Avinu planted trees. Yaakov Avinu, before he went to Mitzrayim, picked up those trees, brought them to Egypt. The Yidden took those trees and took them to the desert. And from those trees, we created the central beam of the Mishkan. If you're a five, you're excited already. And excellent, good information. If you're not a five, what is it saying? Torah is teaching us. What is it saying to us? And the message is very, very loud and very clear. It's saying something to you and I. Mitzrayim is a place of Zima. Mitzrayim is a place where the human being is disconnected to God. Mitzrayim is a place where people feel just physical. Mi Hashem. That's what Paray says. And Yaakov Avinu knew to survive in Mitzrayim, we need the Eishel Avram. The remembrance of who we are and who other people are. And we come out of Mitzrayim with the Eshel Avram. What busts us out of Mitzrayim is the remembrance of who we are. Soul, Shivim Nefesh, Bo Mitzrayim. The remembrance of our preciousness, of each one on himself and seeing it on the rest of Klal Yisrael. The Eshel Avram are what gets us out of Mitzrayim. And then Ashras Ashchina, the Briach Aticha in the central beam of the Mishkan was the Eshel Avram, was the beam of Avram, was those trees of Avram Avinu. The kindness of Avram, which came from the place of knowing his own deepest place, that we're souls who want to give and share and provide. And then seeing it in the Zula, seeing it in the next person, a wonderful person, a precious, impressive person. Seeing it in ourselves, Kaidim Kol, because if we don't see it in ourselves, we won't see it in others. All I look for in hiring a Rebbe, somebody who's dazzled by a Yid, dazzled, intimidated. Charisma doesn't matter a lot to me, or any other types of things. It matters somebody who's dazzled by a Yid. We need to see it in ourselves, our own soul, our own precious neshama. Then we need to discover, we can feel our neshama's different mitzvahs, that it resonates by us. When we learn Torah, to ask ourselves, what will excite me is different than what will excite you, different what will excite you. Ask what words light a fire in your soul. Where do you connect? Where do you see? What vart, what Dvar Torah energizes you? Finding our own preciousness and then seeing it in others. That's the Eshel Avram. And Yaakov Avinu knew we're going to go to a land of Mitzrayim that is not about the preciousness, it's about the physicality of man, devoid of his preciousness, devoid of the soul of a human being. And he knew Eshel Avram, that kindness that comes from knowing our own value and seeing it in the Zulas, that would be the key to getting out of Mitzrayim. And as such, I don't know if it could be physically brought the trees. We could learn Chazal. It could mean it means physically he brought those trees, but most definitely Avraham Avinu had planted a concept in all of us, in his ummah that we all come from. And that concept Yaakov Avinu tapped in on the way to Mitzrayim. He taught that to the Shivtei Ka, the Eshel Avram. The dignity, the preciousness that is every Yid, that is every person in our Ummah. And then they left Mitzrayim with the Eshel Avram, and from there became the Briach Atichain, the central beam of Ashras Ashchina. Because that will allow for the Shechina to be Shayr in Yisro. When there's Haramas Keren Yisro, when the Yid knows who the Yid is, he sees it in himself. And he sees and values other Yid. Naramas Keren Yisrael, the restoration of the pride, of the value of every Yid. So then what follows is Ashras Ashchina. In such a world of Yachad Shiftei Yisrael, then it's Vayihi B'Shur and Melech. Then Hashem is Shaira, that's a T'nai for Ashras Ashchina. So that's the first sugya I wanted to study together. We're seeing in our people, I'm really just reporting the news. As much as I'm sharing the Dvar Torah, I'm reporting, I think our nation has discovered the Eshel Avram. A Bacher showed me that from North America, $1 billion was sent to Eretz Yisrael from Yidden in the last since Simchas Torah, $1 billion. But much more than the money, we've discovered the Eshel Avram. Much more than the kindness, we've remembered the preciousness. I dare say, I think we found the Eshel Avram. And when we hold on to the Eshel Avram, we get out of all the dark, difficult places. From the Eshel Avram is built as the Briach Atichaim, is the central beam of Ashras Ashchina, of the Shechina Shayr in a nation that remembers their own preciousness and sees it in themselves and sees it in others. From there comes Ashras Ashchina. We're watching our Ummah in beautiful ways. Literally, we've discovered, we found the Eshel Avram. We have to keep tapping in that Eshel Avram that he planted in our own families, in our own dorm rooms, in our own yeshivas, in our own communities. Continue to hold on to the Eshel Avram. seeing preciousness in ourselves and seeing it in everybody in our world. Appreciating Ayin Tov. Avram Avinu's midah was Ayin Tov. That's the midah of Avram, is all this sugya. The good eye is the one who saw in himself the soul, who found it, who discovered, and saw it in others. And of course, in that place, there's tremendous kirvus Hashem. I want to sing with the Chevra. There's a song, I hope we'll get it right. If we miss, so we miss. There's the promise of Hashem when He gave the Torah. Hashem said, Atem tiyuli mamleches kayhanim b'goy kadosh. Hashem promised us that we're going to be a princely nation, a precious people. I think we're discovering, there's a kiyum happening. We're discovering each other's preciousness. I think it's a good time to sing those words, that promise of Hashem. Maybe if there's time, we'll share Dvar Torah or two more. But first, I want to sing this with the Chevra. Let's try. I want to share this Maisa. I don't think in person I've told it to my son, Maish. Maybe I'm not sure if I told it in person. I want to tell him tonight this Maisa, Maishua. The stories of Aaron of Bells. Rav Aaron of Bells. The story is a story from Rav Aaron of Bells. Rav Aaron of Bells was a K'daish Elyon, was holy beyond. He was a person davuk to Hashem. The story one can read about his story of his survival from the Nazis is mind-boggling. Nisim in a flies, his survival, how he escaped the Nazis. At one juncture, Rav Aaron of Bells, a true story, Rav Aaron of Bells, his driver was they were running, literally being chased by the Nazis. And his life, they were looking for the Rabbiner, they were looking for Rav Aaron of Bells. They had heard about Yidden leaning and relying on him, and they were going after Rav Aaron. And he was being chased. And there's like this fast car chase, and in the middle of the chase, Rav Aaron of Bells says to his driver, "Please pull over, I'd like to take a break here." And the driver says, "Rebbe, we pull over, we pashtus don't survive." Rav Aaron said calmly, "I'd like you to pull over." So the Yid listened and pulled over. Rav Aaron of Bells goes out of the car. sits on a rock outside, thinks for a few minutes, thinks to himself, then he says, Jetzt ich bin great. Now I'm ready, we can fahren, we can travel on. Comes back to the car and they speed away and survive. Mysterious. Rav Aaron was very mysterious. A friend pushed Rav Aaron. What was that, Rebbe? And he said something that remains, that's weiter mysterious. Rav Aaron of Belz said that I asked myself when we were being chased, what does the Yetzer Hara want from me? What's he trying to do? And I was yared, the Yetzer Hara wants me to lose my Yeshivat Das, my tranquility, my serenity. The Yetzer Hara wants to take that away from me. And I promised he's not going to succeed. So I sat down and I got my calmness back. That's what he said. Now the questions are obvious, a bizarre story. Could he get his serenity in the car? He went out to almost certain death, and he said he wanted to get his serenity. So the Ger Rosh Hashiva, Rav Shaul Alter, said a pshat. And Rav Shaul Alter said a brilliant pshat to explain Rav Aaron of Belz what happened. And it's a pshat very relevant to us all. He said like this. He brought a Baal HaTurim. The Baal HaTurim says that Yaakov Avinu was doing his shtadlus. Esav's coming to attack Yaakov. And he was doing his shtadlus, a Yid's mitzvah, to do his shtadlus. And what Yaakov Avinu did brilliantly was giving gifts to Esav. But not just he gave gifts, he made a separation, revach tasimu ben eder le'eder. Between each group, each flock, each gift he gave to Esav, there was a space between them. So it would appear to Esav that he was getting much more than he actually was getting. That was the trick of Yaakov Avinu, revach tasimu ben eder le'eder. Says the Baal HaTurim cryptically, the same revach tasimu that it says there, the pasuk in the Megillah, revach vatzala yamod mimakom acher, revach, that's what the Baal HaTurim says. Says the Ger Rosh Hashiva, what shaykh is revach tasimu and revach vatzala? Says the Ger Rebbe, well, of course we do a shtadlus. A Yid does a shtadlus, that's what a Yid does. But when a Yid does a shtadlus, we could get a certain nervousness, a certain overwhelmingness that it's all on our shoulders. And we get overwhelmed. And says the Baal HaTurim, while he was doing revach tasimu, Yaakov Avinu was doing a shtadlus, he remembered revach v'atzala yamod mimakom acher, that the Yeshua, of course we rely on Hashem, and we're in Hashem's hands. So of course the Yid does the shtadlus, and that's the revach tasimu bein eder le'eder. But all the while the Yid's doing a shtadlus, he remembers revach v'atzala yamod mimakom acher was Mordechai's lesson to Esther HaMalka. That of course be a hero and save Klal Yisrael, but understand that we're in Hashem's hands. Says Reb Shaul Alter that Rav Aaron was running away, was doing a shtadlus, and he was feeling the overwhelmed feeling of somebody who feels it's in their hands. And he was saying, let me go for a second out of the car to remind myself that in Hashem's hands, and I'll get a certain equilibrium that will calm me down. Shuvi nafshi l'mnuchaychi, ki Hashem gamal aloichi. It will calm me down. I'm in Hashem's hands, then I'll go back to the shtadlus of running away. And certainly we're all joining together, Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael, there's so much going on in our people. And certainly we are celebrating and appreciating all the hishtadlus, the necessary hishtadlus, and appreciating the holy Yidden that are being Ma'aseh Nefesh. And we're praying as well, recognizing we're in Hashem's hands. Klal Yisrael is praying, Am Nishtaimim. You go to any minyan, Maishi, a group of people make a quick minyan at the side of the road. They meet at a rest stop. People after tefillah saying a shir amalos. There's davening after the davening. And I think we've discovered as a people prayer, we're davening. We're all, Klal Yisrael is davening. It's omnis avaisam, it's what Yidden do. We pray, we're daveners. And we're discovering we're in Hashem's hands. We're a nation who's discovering a precious, beautiful people who are in Hashem's hands. So the bracha, the tefillah, the bracha, the tefillah that to us all is to appreciate every single precious Yid. We're the nation of Hashem, Aboicher Ba'ama Yisrael Ba'ava. Let us together pray for Klal Yisrael, for every single Yid in our Ummah. Every single Yid in our Ummah should be safe. Every Yid should stand up with pride and serve Hashem with pride and be accepted by every other Yid. And let's together also take that comfort we're in good hands. With the revach, that we're in Hashem's hands. We're His nation, His people, who He loves, and we're in good hands. And take a comfort and a chizuk that we're in good hands.
Huh? Me too. Oh, you get that on Friday? On every shop, did you get like 3 in a row? No, podcast. I should get Spotify just or the other one. DR, thank you. Huh?
What's he say? Right on the giveaway. Thank you for coming over here. Yo, is this getting posted somewhere? What?
Hired by the Yeshiva.
Waterbury has nothing to do with this right now. It's not for everything. That's YouTube. Instagram. I have Instagram. Done. 40. That's Dayton right there. No! You have to get it. I know you have to get it. Hey, snap it here too. I'll send it. Random hoodie. It's mad thick though. Guys, put it on. Hot down to hold on to it. Oh, I like the back. The back is nice. I'm not trying on.
Pick up the line too.
No. That was amazing. I love it. Take it right next to I would say one
Yeah, I feel.
But I'm only here because of Rebbe. The only reason I'm here is because of Rebbe. Thank you.
Never
really
How do you end up on the back of that line?
Where are we holding? Well, you're good. Where are the other guys holding it? Oh, whenever I'm ready? Usher's ready to roll? You ready to roll? You need another minute? I'm also like Gish, when you're ready, I'm ready.
Maybe. Talk to my wife. Tell the guys when they come to come for Shabbat for you and my wife.
I'm going for the free.
What am I
I will be that. No, I will be that.
No, we can't be next to each other. So we're gonna make it.
I spoke to the guy back there.
Early night, you're waiting online.
How about that for you?
Like you meet my friends from an English mom is son of
Oh, tight shot.
Nice to tell you all the same shit.
Is it good? Better than Yeshiva? Take some back for Shabbos. Yo, Ellie only made the deli roll today anyway, so it's not like
Once I have to.
take a break.
Excellent, thank you. That's nice to meet you, Ellie.
You came around. You gotta come here. Come here.
Thank you.
Yitzi, look at the best five pictures. Look at the best five. Look at the best five. Yeah. I got small ones. Where is that?
guys don't have to express yourself. I validate you. I don't know.
I'm in a lot of schools. I see me
What's the sport? It's just a mess or like big things? Yeah. How can I get access?
You want another 30 pounds?
You have to ask. Good night, Elias.
Someone asked me.
One-on-one right now.
We're a big one-on-one tomorrow. Pay-per-view.
You run the
Well,
I'm not a
And I told everyone, I'm a big one-on-one tomorrow.
Flank.
Game plan, all right.
I like
Flank.
Thanks so much for coming.
Out there.
I'm never gonna hear that.
like that. What's your name? Fellow Daniels. From Weird Daniels. Excellent, excellent. Nice thing. That's good. Just walk through like it. I need to see this throw and see it together.
Not because already it's your brother. Not because.
You meet a shorter brother. And you meet a shorter brother.
Yehuda, you know Yisrael?
I was getting mad at that. I'm better than you. You are. Whole different ball game. It's like trash talking. I don't know who you are. Now you want to be. Now you want to. Oh, you know, there's only winner. You want to feel needed. I'm waiting for. I do. I'm not going to show up. Out there. You two together could finish on. I go wherever I want to go. You got by runs. Somebody has to hand the money. Outer. Gotta go.
Wait, you have a ride back there, right? Ride back there, right?
Must be nice. All right, listen, ski driver.
All right, it was fun.
No.
Okay, now you're asleep.
Listen, call him, tell him to come.
I called him and said, nice to meet you. How are you? Nobody was the back end is pretty big. They look nice.
If I became
You're natural.
things in a serious Naftali Aryeh Kaplan 40 years ago predicted, somebody asked Aryeh Kaplan, is America going to move more, Reformed, conservative, Orthodox? He said all the above is wrong. He was a brilliant guy. He said it's moving Hasidic. He said it won't be wrong. He said the fervor, the energy of Hasidus is all Orthodox Jews. Aryeh Kaplan was a brainy, intellectual. He was a Rav Nachman. He was a scientist who, bizarrely became. He said the whole country is going to move that way. It was a prediction.
Jewish, everyone.
He said all the front people were going to, it was an influence. It's not a chiddush. I guarantee. I don't know if this is a fact. I guarantee you they're learning. I know what's happening. I don't know specific time. I would be zero shocked. I've heard of Rebbe Miner Yisrael learning Yisrael. It's what's happening. It's just. It's not like it's not a thing.
agree that speaker was in first time. You see that
he's fighting something, but it's not. It's no. The word don't use chassid because it's a very bad. It's just tzaddikim who learned. And if you don't like what he says, then fine. But it's not. We call it. I was reading Reb Nachman. He was just a tzaddik who was trying to serve God. I don't think he said, "Hi, I'm Hasidish. My name is Reb Nachman." I don't think. You know what I mean? It's a dangerous word because it lets us push away from something.
Connotations.
It's just a tzaddik. Now you might not like what he says, fine. But it's not something. You have to make it less of a thing, not it's just tiring somebody if you don't like what he's saying, so fine. You don't have to listen to every tzaddik. I don't know. Clearly, a lot of Maishi brought it up in front of my Rebbe, but then we didn't go there. It was too late at night. My Rebbe's not well at all. But he started bringing it up. My Rebbe was yes, it's not.
My guys are explaining to me, it's actually really cool. My guys are explaining to me how it led to this, how the Muslim women allowed for the Swedish women. I don't know exactly, but how it allowed to. He said that it's got Muslim women's dead, but it accomplished its goal. You so would want this, he said.
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I think my Rebbe would like it. I honestly think, I think he would like it. If Aryeh Kaplan is a shtickle, smart that he was the scientist, the rational mind who went crazy for Nachman's teachings.
What are they scared of?
There was a chair. Remember, there was a real chair. These were things that were real. But the shmuel is the real. People fight. The Berlin wine says people fight like battles for 200 years. They're confused. Like they're not in the time machine. Like today, I don't get like busy fighting. Who else? Should be the last place in Stalin's office.
Really? That's from Lakewood already?
Yeah. Not with Nachman. Yaakov said you can't find Reb Nachman, but a lot of all the Ger Rebbes, all that.
Charlotte,
He's a regular. He lived in Philly. He's one of Lakewood guy. He lives all this farm. Everything you What's happening? It's funny because the Hashem asked Mashiach when he's coming. They said when everybody learns Yisrael. That's a true story. I saw the letter. And the weird thing is that people are learning Yisrael. What do we know? What do we know? I had a mice. Shlomo's father was nifter on an Erev Shabbos, and we were all like very, very shaken. Shlomo's a popular guy. His brother Hudi, I promised Hudi was walking around. It was sudden. He was walking around. It was very when Shlomo's father was nifter. So things were hectic in yeshiva. Right before Shabbos, I tried to see the Shabbos. If I get a chance, and I thought that week was like good for me. So I opened the Nesiva Shalom, that parasha. His first piece, he says that he brings the Gemara that if somebody's nifter Erev Shabbos is Siman Yafa. So he says, what's Pshat? Erev Shabbos. His first piece, we just had a P'tira Erev Shabbos, and he says from the Baal Shem that the Avodah Friday is his Batmus Tashem. Erev Shabbos, the Avodah is all week we act like we're the bosses and we run the world. You go into Shabbos, you're switching gears. God, you really run it. I know I act a certain way, and that's what I'm supposed to. I'm no longer creative. You're the creator. So he says Friday's job is a Misa of sorts. So Meis Erev Shabbos is an expression of what every Yid's supposed to do in Erev Shabbos. That's what the Baal Shem says, but I saw it that week. I thought it was not much better. Amazing Baal Shem. That Baal Shem is, So Chassidish, I don't know, he's giving, what a Chazal say? From what I understand, you don't really get to pick, nobody gets to pick when they die. The rest is Meis Erev Shabbos. He says it's an expression of something. You give it up to Hashem. It's really what we needed to hear, because when you have like a sudden loss, you hear Hashem runs, we're in good hands, we're in good hands, we're in good hands. That's a bechin of Meis Erev Shabbos, we're in good hands, we're in good hands. Yeah. Something very relevant to the Zman we live in. We're up here, we're in good hands, we're in good hands. It's difficult, but we're in good hands. Thank you, Tzvi. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Naftali. How long did you Shalavim is close there. Yeah. Nice to see you. Really nice to see you.
Get home court advantage.
Feels right. We had that fish for a whole day.
We didn't know Mike Monday.
Yeah.
He told me we didn't know Mike Monday.
So, who's in Israel? Brother and a sister. It's very bad. South African government came out. Any soldier comes back with a might arrest. Yeah, they said might. They said they won't. His name is Caleb. Maishi is, where's Maishi? Your name is Caleb. I met a Caleb from Memphis, Tennessee. Caleb is the Hebrew name? You're not still a Caleb, right? Yeah. We didn't say where.
Slacha, guys. Thank you, DR. What a party.
Wow. Thank you for arranging. His father is a good guy.
Yeah, sure he is too.
He used to be playing a lot. I can testify. As far as an idealist. We used to send he hosted a few years we sent teams to Memphis to and the Romans hosted you when you were a kid. Yeah, they always came. We never did. They said they came. Thank you, when is he? He's coming soon. I wanted him to come down.
So I want to also.
Who's she ever say? Slacha Rabbi, guys. That's Slacha.
David checks out my show.
Tribute to
Just
send clothes around.
Across the globe here.
How's your stay? Where you staying? What are you here? What time's your flight?
1 a.m.
Where are you from?
Either JFK Wow. Spicy picture.
What's up? What's up, story? What's up?
Do I have your contact? Let's play the game.
I thought this was you, bro.
Great to see you.
Getting paid by the hour. Okay, good. It's almost 1. 15 more minutes. Should I stall him? Whoa. Or we started at the 45. You're good.
I guess it's been half an hour.
Oh, okay, perfect. I stole another 15 minutes.
Nate, let's go. What's wrong? How's it going? Good.
I saw
Jacob, you're almost there. You're at the final steps.
I don't know. Wrestling. He's not done. The thing is, it's always
Have a great night, guys. Have a great night. Thank you.
Watch your step.
Have a great night. Have a great night, guys.
Be careful.
I mean, last stop is the step. No. Man.
Shall we, Mo? Let's do it. Let's check.
Got it.
I'm sure the guy will like do that tomorrow. You gotta become sufficient to do more like a little sushi.
Obviously.
Singing for
More singing, more fabric. No speeches. I'm not going to speak. More singing. Fabric.
Fabric, Leos. We have food. I'm sure
I can't agree.
Perfect. How do we get that done? I'm going to do Fisher. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. We're doing it. Yeah. I just told you there. I was thinking there is better. I spoke to her, I told her that yeah. You have something to do, yeah. The only question we had is who's what's the crazy deal?
Oh man, I missed out.
Really?
It's big hawk nowadays in Yeshiva.
Oh, yeah?
That's what I've been saying. Since I've been there. I'm saying Nasser already. I guess I'm not going to see this one.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey! Yeah! Cameraman deserves it. Yeah! Legendary cameraman and all the pay. Shlomo Zalman, how we doing? Zach and Ellie, can't wait to see you.
He always called me Shlomo Zalman. I think I always did. Now I revert back to Zach.
Yes. I don't know. I'll see you guys tomorrow. How far is it here now?
To drive, it's like 15 minutes.
50 minutes? Well, now it's going
15-minute drive from here, 2-hour walk.
nice.
From here. I saw it on Google Maps.
If only. Imagine. Here he is one goal.
I'll behave.
Oh, you were spying.
I was ADHD without playing. I won't go around. I was going to relax.
Why didn't you take shots?
I said, sleep.
Rise, how are you? Stop. Some of the very strong people doesn't Any room?
Great to see you.
Great night,
Great night, Robbie.
Coming with us?
How are we getting back?
Where is my shoe?
Mike's here. Mike's right there.
Joshua, have a great night. He said
Tracks.
Beeline to the shape of the
Have a great night.
I asked him if he could do that. I said originally, I said,
Really? Wow.
yeah, it's a better call. It's a better call. The question is how
Family doing?
That I understand fully. After I'll explain to you.
they could even give. How many they'll give up? They could give up.
Yeah, listen, we can explain. Look, he's very easy.
He's very slow.
Slow.
I'm sorry, was that a high five? Sorry, I wasn't sure.
Personal office.
I'm looking forward.
Personal office. He told me that not to.
8:15, trust me.
We're chakras?
Do you want bar?
Little OD, but.
like a bar.
Have a great night, Robbie.
Getting destroyed in the war, you know?
Have it be like my last thing on my shot, right? Go back in the last one. Oh, you don't do 40-minute walk even. Like, I'm really, I don't know how I'll do other videos. Like, the way I think of it, I'm really doing, I'm in a very good place right now, and I can't overexert myself. It's a lot. It's like a lot. Yeah. And like, having to be just like great as a schmuck. Like, I'm raining Thursday now. In the winter, like, I got a few minutes to ride. I'm not like trying to get every second and all this time and every, like, you know? Yeah,
You're really you know, I'm not trying to overrate.
Have a great night.
There's not the brightest. Or some guys. They make these terrible. It's coming the other way.
What about PC?
Maybe he wants to speak to him, but like,
You ever
Hi, regards from Shlomo Zalman, Orbach.
Whoa, that's a good regard.
That's my son.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you hear that?
Wow.
His son is Shlomo Zalman Orbach.
No.
That's we all love wow.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
Is that right, Brownstein? You heard that?
He's going into. He's been called in. He's going into the army next week, and he's going to go to Jenin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Please
So.
send my best.
Okay, we'll do. We'll do.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, take care. Take care. Thank you.
They make cars that they go on and out.
Have a great night, Robbie. Thank you. Looking forward.
Zach, have a great night.
yeah. I don't know, I went down and I feel bad for him, honestly.
No caps?
But yeah, good for him. You know?
Come on, not to.
You drop me off in Yerushalayim?
No, nobody that wants to
Maish, are there taxis?
Both of you.
Maish, watch out, Maish.
I got it.
We'll be fine.
Get a hitch with that. Who is this? Where are they putting the video? It's Yehuda.
Who is
Have a
that?
great night.
Is he going to Emory?
Not only he's going to, I'm not the change. Question is,
We'll be able to find.
We'll see if they don't get a car in the
do you know
half an
they'll
hour.
find taxis here?
Oh, I'm gonna try. I just got one. I just got one.
Got one?
Mine just went. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it said it'll take a minute and a half, but
Yeah, but
we'll
it's
get
gonna
it.
give him 10 minutes. But
Oh, but it says you'll have one?
Yeah, no, it says in a minute and a half.
they think
We'll
they'll think they might
hopefully
find one.
find the driver.
all the way from Beit Zayat. I don't know.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, he's 10 minutes away, so.
What's his name?
Gusha Halid.
Yeah. A lot of the air taxi drivers stopped driving now during the war because they're scared. Yeah.
They're scared?
I
No,
don't know.
okay.
Is that an Arab?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's
I've
fine.
gone there before. Should I cancel it?
No, that's fine.
It was 4 guys together.
Yeah, I think we're chilling.
Don't worry.
If he has a
I'll go
weapon,
myself.
doesn't really matter.
That's just 4 guys.
We'll be fine.
Also, if he kidnaps us.
I have a really loud
found
voice
one.
and I speak
He's
Hebrew.
19 minutes away.
Okay, but he's
Ahmed Jaradat.
Ahmed Jordan.
That's how you want.
He's 19 minutes away. Yeah.
I'd rather camp
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Rabbi.
Oh, you can camp out. I'm going back.
Text Maish, you have Maish's number?
I'm gonna take it right now.
Text you when he's back.
203
Tell Maish when you're back.
893
9857.
9857. Oh, it's WhatsApp?
Yeah, great
Oh,
to see you.
perfect.
Great to
So I
see
should
you.
have you then.
Maish, let's go.
No! Oh my gosh, you just said he's unavailable.
No!
Can't
be out today.
You guys can't get, and whatever amount of time, we'll come back.
17 minutes. Thank you. Okay. We should be fine.
How you getting back?
17 minutes away now.
Anyone need a ride to Fisher?
Biggie. We're going right now.
Do you have a ride?
But to go to Fisher, you just drop.
He's 18 minutes away. Okay. The good news is tomorrow morning. The good news is tomorrow morning we don't have to see it.
How you getting? You have a car?
Mo, have a good night.
Can you cover me? No, do we have room? Let's fit. Do we have room for both of them?
I think you can. Yeah, this.
Hop in. Let's go. Am I driving? How are you sleeping? Please stand us when we